Hey, how about this? We're on video number 152. This video is a help video on Unit 1 Test 1-13, and this video picks up with, as sad as you may be, the last page of the test. We pick up with question 78. Here we have three diagrams. This should look familiar. This is right off the video on density. Question 78, which of these three diagrams has the highest or largest mass? Well, mass is the amount of matter in the object. This has 9, this has 9, and this has 9. They all have 9 atoms or whatever these are representing in there. So they have the same amount of matter. They all have 9. Therefore, they have the same mass, letter D. Which one has the highest density? Density is the amount of matter crammed in a space. So this one, they're crammed tightly together. That has a high density. This one, they're a little more spread out, a slightly lower density. This one, they are very spread out. So this has the lowest density. The one with the highest density is letter A, where they're crammed together most closely. Number 80, which one has the largest volume? Volume is the amount of space. Volume is the amount of space occupied by the object. Letter C, they are spread out more than any of the other ones. So that one takes up the most space. Letter C, that is the most space. Highest volume. Now we are on to the short answer. And each of these, like on a typical test, would be about 2 points each. The first question, and this is all dealing with alchemy. The first question, why did the alchemists believe it was possible through transmutation to turn one form of matter into another? And what is it that the alchemists believed all matter was made up of? What were the four natural elements? Well, the reason alchemists believed that they could, through transmutation, change one thing into another is because they believed everything was made up of the four natural elements: earth, air, fire, and water. If everything was made up of those four elements, if all matter was some combination of those four elements, and gold being matter was some combination of those four elements, all they needed to do, the alchemists believed, was find out the combination of those four elements necessary to produce gold. Second question, how are gold, silver, and copper now classified in modern science, and how does this definition explain why the alchemists failed? Well, we know gold, silver, and copper are now elements. They are actually 3 of the 118 or so elements, not earth, air, fire, and water. Earth is made up of a mixture and combination of all kinds of atoms and elements and compounds. Air is also a mixture, mostly of nitrogen, which is an element, some oxygen, which is an element, and other compounds and elements. Fire is actually energy. Water itself is a compound made up of hydrogen and oxygen. Elements, gold, silver, and copper are elements. Elements are actually the simplest form of matter. It's pure matter, and it cannot be broken down further chemically. Alchemists thought gold and copper were some combination of earth, air, fire, and water, when in fact gold, silver, copper were already elements themselves. Elements cannot be broken down further chemically. So the reason they failed is elements themselves are the simplest form of matter that can't be broken down further chemically. Therefore, they failed. Letter 3, how are the alchemists trying to accomplish it? How did they think that they could break copper down into, or break gold and silver down into the substances which made them up? Earth, air, fire, and water. They thought gold and silver were combinations of those, but they were trying to do it through chemical reactions. It was several hundred years after alchemy fell by the wayside that nuclear reactions were even discovered to be taking place. Now, chemical reactions involve the electrons. Electrons are not the part of the atom that determines what the element is. So, to turn copper into silver or gold, they were messing with electrons. The only way you can turn copper into silver or silver into gold is to alter the number of protons in the nucleus. So, messing with the electrons would not accomplish what they were hoping. Is it possible in 4 to actually turn other metals into gold? Can it be done? And what part of the atom would be involved? Well, yes, it is possible. One element can change into another, but not by chemical reactions. In order to change one element into another, the nucleus of the atom must change. Specifically, the number of protons in the nucleus must change. So transmutation, the changing of one form of matter into another, can and does happen. It happens naturally through radioactive reactions, radioactivity. It can happen through man-made artificial transmutation, but it involves alterations to the nucleus, specifically the number of protons. Only in messing with the number of protons can one element's identity be changed into another. So it can be done. It has been done. It is being done. Question 5, then why isn't it done? Why don't we change other metals into gold and get very rich? And it is because the process of changing one element to another, the process of changing the nucleus of one atom into another artificially, is an extremely costly process, and the process itself is more expensive than the gold that is made. This brings to a conclusion our final video of many explaining Unit 1's test. If you are watching these videos, you don't have to watch the entire video, obviously. Just watch the parts that cover the questions. You can fast forward to the parts you needed, as we mentioned earlier. But if after watching these videos you are confused on any of this, please, please, please email me. We can set up a Zoom conference. You can come in and Zoom during the office hours so that you understand the material here. It will be following us all year. Chemistry is a cumulative class, so understand as much as you can before we move on. Thank you so much for watching.